You know the moment. You walk through the door after the kind of day that ground you down slowly and thoroughly. The meetings that went nowhere, the conversations that left a residue, the 100 small moments of having to be composed and competent and present for everyone else while quietly running on empty inside. And before you've put your keys down, before you've taken off your coat, before you've had a single second to transition from the person the world needs you to be into the person you actually are, they're already there, not waiting, celebrating. The whole body involved, the tail, the eyes, the barely contained joy of an animal that experienced your absence as a genuine loss, and your return as the best thing that has happened all day. No agenda, no grievance, no quiet accounting of the ways you fell short recently. Just this, pure, uncomplicated, immediate gladness that you exist and that you came back. And something in you that had been braced all day just lets go. Most people smile at that moment and move on. But if you're someone who loves dogs, really loves them, in that deep and specific way that goes beyond finding them cute or enjoying their company, that moment is something else entirely. It is, in ways you may never have examined, a window into something true about who you are and what you most need from the relationships in your life. This video is about what that window actually reveals. If that already sounds like the best part of your day, stay with me for this one. And if this channel is new to you, hit subscribe. We break down the psychology behind the things most people never think to look at carefully. Drop a comment below too. I read every single one. Because what your love of dogs reveals about your personality isn't what most people expect. It isn't simple. It isn't surface level. And once you understand the psychological portrait that research has consistently painted of dog lovers, you will see yourself and the bond you have with your dog in a way that goes far deeper than affection. Here's what nobody tells you about people who love dogs. The connection isn't really about dogs, not at its deepest level. Psychologists call it affiliative motivation, the degree to which a person's core psychological needs are organized around connection, belonging, and the experience of being genuinely needed by another living thing. People with high affiliative motivation don't just enjoy relationships, they are fundamentally oriented toward them, energized by them, made more fully themselves inside them. And a dog, almost uniquely among all possible relationships, meets that need with a completeness that human relationships rarely manage. Not because dogs are better than people, but because the love a dog offers has a quality that human love, for all its depth and complexity, almost never achieves. It is utterly consistent. It is entirely present. It carries no history of disappointment, no catalog of resentments, no conditional clauses buried in the fine print. Every single time, it is just this. Just gladness. Just presence. Just the uncomplicated fact of you, received as if it were more than enough. For people wired for deep connection, that consistency isn't a small thing. It is profoundly regulating. The research on this is striking when you sit with it. A study conducted by the University of Texas found that dog owners score significantly higher in extroversion, agreeableness, and conscientiousness, 3 of the 5 core dimensions of personality identified by researchers as most predictive of social functioning and relationship quality. But the finding that goes deepest isn't about any single trait. It's about the pattern they form together. Dog lovers tend to be people who are simultaneously outward-facing and deeply responsible. They move toward connection rather than away from it. They derive genuine satisfaction from being depended upon, and they have a high tolerance, often an active preference, for the kind of messy, imperfect, fully embodied love that requires real presence rather than curated performance. In plain terms, dog lovers tend to be the people who show up, not just for their dogs, for everyone. There is also documented evidence that interacting with dogs produces a measurable surge in oxytocin, the same neurochemical released during human bonding, physical touch, and moments of genuine intimacy. Simply making eye contact with your dog triggers this response in both of you simultaneously. You are not imagining the depth of that bond. Your brain chemistry is confirming it in real time, every single day. Here's where it goes deeper than personality traits and neurochemistry. For many dog lovers, the attachment that forms with a dog isn't separate from their broader emotional history. It is shaped by it. People who grew up in environments where love was reliable, where affection was consistent, where care was given without conditions, where showing up for someone was simply what love looked like in practice, often find in dogs a mirror of everything they were taught to value most about relationship. And people who grew up in environments where love was less reliable, where affection was unpredictable, where care came with conditions, where you never quite knew if the warmth would still be there tomorrow, often find in dogs something even more profound. They find the experience, possibly for the first time, of being loved without having to earn it. Psychologists who study human-animal bonds have noted that for many people with complicated attachment histories, a dog is the relationship in which they first learned what unconditional love actually feels like in the body. Not as a concept, as a daily, physical, consistent reality. That is not a small thing. That is, for some people, everything. And here is the part that most dog lovers carry quietly, without ever quite naming it. The traits that make you love your dog so deeply are the same traits that make you remarkable in your relationships with people. The capacity for loyalty that runs so deep it sometimes surprises even you. The genuine pleasure you take in being needed, not out of insecurity, but out of an authentic desire to matter to the lives around you. The ability to love someone through their worst days without keeping score. The instinct to show up, to stay, to be the consistent presence in someone else's storm. These are not common qualities. They are not qualities everyone has access to or even understands. And they are written all the way through the kind of person who chooses, again and again, to build their life around a relationship that asks for everything and gives back more than you knew was possible. Dog people are not naive about love. They are not idealistic in a way that ignores complexity or difficulty or the very real cost of caring deeply. They have simply decided, at some level deeper than conscious choice, that the cost is worth it. That showing up fully, even knowing you might get hurt, even knowing nothing lasts forever, is still better than the alternative. And your dog, who has been demonstrating that exact philosophy since the day you brought them home, already knew that about you before you did. So here is what the psychology of loving dogs actually reveals about your personality. It reveals that you are someone for whom connection is not optional, not a nice addition to a life built around other things, but the thing itself, the organizing principle, the source of meaning, the place where you feel most completely and unmistakably yourself. You are not someone who loves too easily or too much. You are not someone who needs to toughen up or learn to need less. You are someone who arrived in this world with a high capacity for loyalty, for presence, for the kind of love that stays. Someone who recognized in a dog's eyes a quality of devotion that matched something already living inside you. Someone who didn't just find a pet. You found a reflection. And the world, which sometimes struggles to receive the full weight of what you offer, is quietly better for having people like you in it. Tell me, what does your dog mean to you? Does any of this resonate with your experience? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to hear your story. If this hit home for you, please subscribe. There's a lot more of this kind of depth coming. And if you want to keep going, the next video explores the psychology of people who love deeply but struggle to let others love them back, and why that particular pattern is more common and more understandable than most people realize.